Well, hello, LSCU members. If I have not met you before, my name is Misty. I'm with Growth by Design. I'm the marketing manager here, and we're so excited to have you here. Our Learning with Leverage series can encompass a variety of topics, and we are trying to listen to you and what you need to hear. We have heard you. So many of our credit unions over the years that have approached us, they've expressed a need for something that's engaging and impactful to educate members, especially families, about financial wellness. And we've heard concerns over liquidity and member education. We completely understand the importance of addressing your aging membership, and credit unions need solutions for parents and younger members that's fun and interactive. And that's why we are so thrilled to welcome our speakers for today's webinar. The Art of Allowance is a modern and user-friendly financial wellness program designed for the entire family. It offers solutions for absolutely everyone and engaging materials for kids, with robust resources for their parents, and it's all wrapped up in fun and a very interactive experience. So in today's webinar, we're going to explore the Art of Allowance project and how it can benefit both your membership and your credit union directly. So John, if it's all right, I'm just going to keep on going for just a moment longer. We have our chief mammal. That is your title, John Lanza, and he is on a mission to help parents raise money-smart kids. John created the award-winning Art of Allowance project, and it's a family financial empowerment program for credit unions. The program helps credit unions connect with and empower parents to be their kids' money smart guides. It features the award-winning Money Mammals for younger kids and adolescents, for tweens and teens. John is an avid runner who lives in Southern California. Feel free to send us any of that beautiful weather. And you live there with your wife and two teenage daughters. So welcome, John.
Thank you so much, Misty. This is always exciting to be with you and talking to credit union folks out there in the virtual world. And welcome to Learning with Leverage. We're going to talk about engaging kids, empowering parents, and helping you connect with the next generation. And I'm excited to share some ideas that I think you'll find useful. They will be tied into our program, the partners we've worked with, but I think all the information you have will be useful kind of writ large at your credit union if you're trying to connect with youth and with families. And, our plan is to kind of leverage, you like how we did that? Our 2 decades of experience working with credit unions like yours to help you get a better sense of how to look at youth accounts, or maybe to get a really different perspective on youth accounts. But before we get rolling, I want to introduce Erin Prim, who's our jackalope of all trades here at Snigglezoo. Erin, take it away.
Thanks, John, and welcome again to everyone tuning in today. Before we kick things off, I just wanted to share a quick tip to help everyone get the most out of today's session. So we feed off of your energy in the chat. So be sure to post any and all questions, comments, drop them down there. Misty, John, and I will be monitoring the chat feature throughout the presentation. And speaking of today's presentation, I'll be back in a few minutes. You haven't seen the end of me yet, to discuss some practical program strategies that you can implement at your credit unions with your family financial wellness programs. And I'm also going to introduce you to some of our partner credit unions. We call them our credit union rock stars, who are leveraging those strategies, again, leveraging, to grow their programs. But for now, I'll turn it back over to you, John.
Thank you, Erin. And let's start with some quick sharing. Please drop in the chat where you're zooming in from, location, credit union. We just want to know we're not speaking just into the void. We see we've got attendees here, so keep us company. And we'll do our best to address questions. If you have them throughout, feel free to throw them in the chat. Erin and Misty and I will be looking at the chat, and to the extent we can answer those questions in real time, we will do that. And of course, we'll stay on afterwards to answer as many questions as we can. And if it's okay with you, Misty, I'd like to just quickly begin at the beginning to just give you a short history of why you brought us here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, part of the reason that we began this partnership is we have been hearing from credit unions for years that they don't have a program. The program that they had was antiquated. It wasn't really impactful for the children directly. And a lot of parents just need help. They don't know what to do. They want it to be fun for their kids, but sometimes talking finance isn't super fun. Sometimes it can be a really challenging conversation, and, the credit unions maybe didn't find it as impactful. They might have a mascot or they may not have a specific program in place, and so when we met a few years ago, we just fell in love with your product and your program, and we thought, "Wow, this is really something that credit unions need to see," and so that was kind of, I believe, our introduction there.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that, Misty. And I'll take you even further back. Yeah, I want to give you a little context, you and the rest of the, everybody who's here, of why kind of got into this. And it starts with these girls. I call them my Lanza ladies. I started coaching these kids in soccer about around the time they learned to walk, as you can see, and anybody who's had kids in sports can recognize my younger daughter there on the right, and that look, which is all uniform, a head and two arms, two hands. That's all you get to see there. And I call them my Lanza ladies, and as you can see, they've grown up. So, I want to just take you back to when we had only one of the Lanza ladies, and my wife and I knew we wanted to do a lot with our kids, but one of the key things was we wanted to raise them to be money smart and money empowered. I'm coming to you from Southern California, Los Angeles, Hollywood. I worked in entertainment. I saw firsthand the crazy spending that can happen. I might have been involved in some of the crazy spending. But more importantly, I just saw how friends and family members who kind of didn't live frugally seemed to always be stressed about money, however much money they seem to be making. And because I worked in animation, I thought, what if we could turn money smart learning for our kids into something fun? And maybe this is something that's not just exciting for our kids, but could be good for kids everywhere. And that's why we created the Money Mammals. And the Money Mammals really get kids excited with their mantra, which you can see here: we'll share and save and spend smart too. And we've been really fortunate in working with the credit unions to have impacted hundreds of thousands of kids with our simple message about, these basics, like making money smart choices. And so much of it we owe to all of our credit union colleagues across the country who have done so much with the program that we have provided to them. But one of the things that we learned is that in the time that we've spent entertaining and educating kids, talking with parents, I realized, wait a second, it's the parents like us that need help. This isn't all about the kids. This isn't about, no matter how excited kids get with the Money Mammals, they need money in their hands to actually learn from experience, because that is the way they're going to learn. And we as parents need the confidence that we can be our kids' guides on the money smart journey. And that's why I wrote The Art of Allowance. And that's really informed this program in its kind of much bigger form. And I wrote the book. You'll see it's small, short, because no parent wants to read a tome on allowance. And I wrote it because I wanted something. It's the book that I wish I had. And our overall program now, the Art of Allowance Project, incorporates the Money Mammals to engage young kids, adolescents for tweens and teens, and of course, all the material to empower parents. So that's a quick history, Misty. Does that kind of mystery come up with a new name for you?
I will only be addressed as such going forward.
Mystery Waldrop. Does that all make sense to you?
It does. It does make sense, and I absolutely, appreciate that, because it's what we as parents need. Why would this matter for credit unions?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it really does matter. And here's why. So one, it's an opportunity to deliver on those credit union principles. I think a lot of credit unions are talking about financial wellness, and it doesn't go any further than the webpage. But here you're providing money smarts to employees and members of all ages. And I want to stress, and we're going to do that throughout this presentation, the employees really matter, because that employee connection is key, because not only are then you helping the employees be better with their kids, the employees that do have kids, raise money smart kids, but they become really engaged with the program. They understand how to communicate that program to members and potential members. Second, you really want to make sure that you're covered with every age kid, right? You have to have every age and stage covered. You want parents to know that you're the place that is going to provide the information they need when they need it. And then, of course, the parents, because you're engaging kids and empowering parents. And then you really want to be thinking this kind of future forward idea. You're planting the seeds that will grow the next generation of Money Smart members. And the other thing is, you can stand out amongst all the other financial institutions in your area. You can really make a difference in the world with your credit union. So here are a few numbers to note. When I started working in this, working with credit unions, the people were talking about the average age going up of credit union members. It was 47. It's now 52. I'm not a math whiz, but that's not going in the right direction. And number two, Gen Z, biggest generation since the boomers, and Gen Alpha right on their tails. And are you going to wait until these teens and young adults become older and everybody's trying to connect with them at the same time? That's way too late. That is the time that every institution, brand is trying to connect with them. Start a relationship earlier when they're young. And just as importantly, number three, this number 26%, only 26% of parents say they are prepared to teach their kids money smarts. You can be the institution that they turn to when they need help. And so I want to talk to you, I want to show you our site, because the digital side of things is so important. And while 26% of parents are prepared to teach their kids, 100% of parents answer yes to the question, do you want to raise a money smart kid? And you want to do more than just offer a youth account. So what I'm going to do is show you how we've done that. And then Erin's going to follow up with more information about this. And then we can kind of give you these pointers as we go through. So let me jump off of here and jump into our site. Yeah, let's see. There we go. Okay, so you should be seeing the site now. Is that popped up? Beautiful. So you'll notice here, number one, simple language. I mean, Misty and I were talking about this before we jumped on this, jumped into the webinar, the importance of keeping the messages simple. We don't want to overwhelm people with too much. And you want to make sure that they know, parents and kids, that everything's covered. So here, right, we've got parents, kids, tweens and teens, teachers, keeping it super simple. Let's jump over to the parents. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be very quickly going through this, so you're not going to get all the depth of that is in the site, but you're going to get the key ideas that you want to get across when you're talking to parents, when you're talking to kids, and when you're talking to the tweens and teens. And you really want to make sure that you've got, in the parents section, you want the message to be, we're here for you when you need it. So here we have how to get started with an allowance, what financial literacy looks like at every age. And then we have more information like classes and books that we make available to them. This section, we affectionately call this our question answering machine, but here's why this is important. If you're going to have a lot of content, you've got to make it super easy for parents to find when they need it. And so what we've done is we have podcasts, videos, and essays and articles. So we've made it so that a parent could come in here and say, oh, I'm trying to find information about allowances and chores. My kid is school age, and then you can choose the type of media. So if I'm going to be in the car, I can listen to something. If I might have some time to read, I could do that, or I might want to watch a short video on these topics. So making it as easy for parents to find the material as they can, fewest clicks, really important. So let's jump over again. We are just covering the top level stuff here, but I want to make sure you get all the kind of key sections. So let's look at the kids. What are we talking about with the kids? Making it super fun, super colorful. You notice the big difference here. We've got games and apps and videos and books and printables. And don't underestimate the importance of something like printables. You know, you set up a kids corner at your credit union, put some printables out there, some crayons, you can have a coloring contest. Again, keeping things simple is really key, but having fun videos, having lots of fun games, all tied into these ideas of sharing and saving and spending smart, even books they can read online. So making it super fun for the kids, really important, because remember, you're just trying to engage them at this point and prime the pump so that the parents then have kids who are ready to learn. I was like, I want to be like Joe the Monkey. I want to learn about sharing and saving and spending smart. And the parents can help them then because you've empowered them with the other material that you provided. And then let's jump over and take a look at our newest section here, which is the tweens and teens. So making sure, again, I'm going to harp on this, and we will continue to harp on this, the simplicity. So not covering every single topic, but focusing on the habits that are going to matter to those kids as they get older. So things like making sure you live beneath your means, you know, opportunity cost, setting smart goals, and learning to use money as a tool. And so we have videos here. These are called Good Money Habits videos. We have little short essays that are kind of fun and written, and we have analogous essays for the parents so they can educate themselves about things like media savvy and talk to their kids about it. What we're trying to do is help open up a conversation between kids and parents. And we have these kind of shareable cards that kids can get kind of fun, pithy sayings. They can get numbers if they're numbers oriented, just ideas and behaviors that they can internalize themselves and share with friends. And so that kind of covers all the kind of key aspects of what you want to make sure that's available on your website. But most importantly, what I want to get across is this is much more than just a youth account. Does that all make sense? What do you think so far, Misty?
I think you're covering this beautifully, and it's so needed. I love the built-in marketing that makes it easy for a credit union to implement. I personally was telling Aaron yesterday, there's one particular game that I probably shouldn't tell you. I go on and play casually. I love the games for the kids, but most importantly, I love all the information that you're able to relay and just plant the seed for the youth. Just as a parent, I think it's fantastic.
Great. Well, we appreciate that. Well,
And
now I
so-
want to bring on, oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so absolutely. I'm so excited to hear Aaron's next portion talking about the importance of this digital connection.
Well, that sounds good. Let me pop this up and I'm going to
Alrighty.
turn it over to you, Aaron.
Then away we will go. Okay, everybody. So, as John has already mentioned, in our almost 2 decades of experience partnering with credit unions, we have found the following 3 strategies to be really successful when you're either launching or reinvigorating a family financial wellness program. So, first up is going to be curating a marketing mix. Next, we're going to have educating your team members. And last, but certainly not least, compiling, organizing all those back-end resources. So now let's take a deep dive into each one of those. So first up, curating your marketing mix. So we've found through our experience with our nationwide network of credit union partners over the years that a healthy product assortment consists of 4 key components. First, they're going to be welcome kit items. So you can present physical pieces like account cards, maybe membership certificates, picture books to not only kids, but also the parents upon account opening. Because doing so allows your young members, obviously, to take ownership of their portion of the program, but it also demonstrates your institution's commitment to helping parents be their children's guides on this family money smart journey. Next up, marketing materials. So you can, of course, utilize those all-knowing promotional pieces like lobby displays, teller displays, fun character costumes to connect with current and potential members in your branches, out and about in the community. One piece that our credit union partners love, super popular when they are doing reorders or launching their program, is a counter card, which is a two-sided takeaway featuring top-level highlights of the program for parents, but it also contains links to the program's site to easily transition the parents and their kids, of course, from a physical piece to the digital realm that John already showed you that has all those fun apps and games that Misty loves to play. Then next, we have prizes and giveaways, the fun stuff. We can't forget that. Obviously, your prizes are going to serve as deposit incentives for kids and tweens and teens to encourage sharing and saving and spending smart. But interactive items we have found are also key as well, like activity books, coloring printables, like John mentioned, color changing pencils to distribute at branches or in your communities. And I will let you in on a little secret. If there is one thing that I have learned from all of the birthday parties that I've been to with my girls over the past year, it's that temporary tattoos are the item of the moment right now. Misty's laughing like she can confirm. Okay, and this is another thing we've already mentioned, keeping it simple. This is simple. This is cost effective for you guys. You can easily give them away as prizing in branches. Quickly set up a themed tattoo booth at your next event. It is the way to go, I'm telling y'all. And then last, but certainly not least, your direct mail pieces. So many institutions, I will admit, including some of our own partners, are switching to a digital first mentality. And I'm just going to, quick reminder, star this, digital first should not mean digital only. Just a quick reminder. As much as we adults, myself included, dread checking the mail just to find our mailboxes stuffed with bills and flyers and junk, kids love receiving physical mail. So just this past weekend, my oldest daughter, and I were coming back from the grocery store, parked our car in the garage. I suggested that we go check the mail. In the millisecond after I said that, the keys were snatched out of my hand, run down the driveway. My daughter's running down the driveway to go check the mail, open the mailbox with the key, poke her head in and see what's there. So kids love it. It's something that they can take ownership of. So we always suggest to our partners to send quarterly newsletters like the ones that you see here, filled with program updates or money smart puzzles, or even mailing birthday cards to encourage your young members to come in for a treat to celebrate their special day. And in fact, one of our partners in Central New York actually had a yearly 40% redemption rate with birthday postcards, which generated some considerable branch traffic for them. So all in all, keep it simple with your marketing mix, but remember to have physical pieces to serve as those physical, regular, have a cadence for reminders of your program to keep it top of mind with your members. And speaking of members, now we're going from your members to your team members. So in terms of educating your team members, we do always recommend to offer interactive employee sessions. These can be onboarding sessions, regular refreshers, so that your staff, your employees are well-versed in all of the facets of your program, everything it has to offer. But we also recommend offering financial wellness sessions for your team members as well. Because as John has mentioned earlier, these have the dual benefit of empowering your employees and their families on the Money Smart journey, but they also allow your team members to become better ambassadors of your financial wellness program. Now, subject matter experts, you're probably thinking, Erin, what in the world is a branch subject matter expert? In our program, we call them branch bandicoots, which even sounds even funnier, but everybody's got to have a fun money mammal name, right? So a branch subject matter expert is a go-to team member who can address any and all program inquiries. And depending on your bandwidth, This individual could be a branch manager, an assistant branch manager, or even just a dedicated, passionate member of your frontline staff. And team members have to get in on the fun as well. I love playing the games. Misty loves playing the games. We always encourage, Claire's tic-tac-toe polls, that's my vice. We always recommend that our partners encourage their team members to play a specific Money Mammals app or game to see who can get the highest score, or to share an adolescent's shareable card on their social channels, see who can get the most engagement, because doing so helps them feel involved in the program, but it also educates them about the content so they're able to speak about it more knowledgeably to your young members and their families. And then here we are, last but not least, compiling your back-end resources. So we do recommend that you organize all of your program's resources digitally so that they are easily accessible for your key stakeholders. Here at Sniggle Zoo, we've actually set up a portal for our credit union partners that includes the following components. So it has reference materials like best practices and an onboarding presentation, event ideas, again, keep it simple, some ideas ready to go that you can easily implement in your branches, digital assets like a style guide, program graphics and logos, and social collateral, and community education resources like the teaching materials that you see on this page that can work for elementary, middle, and high school. Again, we're trying to reach all ages and stages, that can be used in classrooms, but also in libraries, museums, anywhere and everywhere you're able to get to with your strategic partnerships. So how do all those strategies sound, Misty?
They sound fantastic, and learning how these programs are implemented is incredibly helpful. Can you kind of explain how credit unions have utilized them?
Yeah, of course. So who better to learn from than other credit unions just like yours? Our credit union rock stars are here to show you the way. So here's how several of our current partners are leveraging the 3 strategies that I already talked about to grow their programs in branches, in their communities, and on the web. So first up, in the branch, you're going to want to set the stage by creating inviting kids club corners, like John already mentioned. This one's at one of our Indiana Credit Union's branches, and you can fill it with this one, like they did in Chiffon Federal Credit Union with Joe the Monkey swinging on his Supervine 3000. But you can fill these with coloring pages, picture books, even tablets preloaded with program content. One of our other credit unions actually does that. And you can also host impactful events too. If you're launching or reinvigorating a program, why not treat your young members and families to a kickoff event to celebrate? You can also develop a regular cadence of events throughout the year to really keep your members engaged too. So the image that you guys are seeing right now is actually from a Money Mammals live event, which is a traveling show featuring the Money Mammals characters as puppets. And John can confirm, but I believe kids in attendance in the past have literally tried to rush the stage on several occasions. So if you're able to
That
do
is true.
something similar, yeah, with your current program's mascots, then I'm sure it'll be a hit. And then moving from the 4 walls of your branches to out and about in the community, we of course recommend that you leverage any of your current collaborations with libraries, museums, schools, or even sports teams. So one of our partners in the leagues area down in Florida, where I am, GTE Financial, they're based out of Tampa. They currently collaborate with the Tampa Bay Lightning, go Bolts, the local professional hockey team. And they worked with our design team to repurpose an ice skating themed printables. See, those printables really come in handy with the hockey team's logo. And the piece, which you can kind of see right there, is distributed at community events co-sponsored by GTE and the Lightning. We also recommend encouraging community interaction to get your young members out and about in the community to discover different aspects of it that they might not have been to before. So one of our Louisiana partners, Louisiana Federal Credit Union, in a recent past Youth Month, actually issued a reading challenge to its young members. So they said, okay, kiddos, here are your different objectives, like reading for 20 minutes, reading under a tree, go to this particular landmark in town, go read there. And once their young members completed the challenge, they actually received Happy Mail, which included a t-shirt and some sweet treats. But more importantly, this particular initiative for Youth Month resulted in 16% growth in accounts just in the month of April for Louisiana Federal. So it was great for them. And again, keeping it simple with a reading challenge. Okay, so now we're moving from the physical world to the digital realm. So if you attended or streamed the Social Media for Credit Unions Learning for Leverage call, then you'll probably remember that one of the tips was not to sell on your social channels. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of home fun. Yes, I call it home fun, not homework. My parents were both teachers, so that's kind of where I get it from. After this call, check your engagement on your social posts, specifically the ones where you might be, selling a product, auto loan, home loan, whatnot. How does that compare to the engagement you get on your other content? So instead, perhaps think about sharing helpful content for adults, especially moms. After all, they're most likely to be following you on your social channels and most likely to make their household's consumer decisions, including where to bank. And this mom of two can attest to that. So one of our Ohio partners, Ohio Credit Union, actually just posted earlier this month this exact Art of Adolescence shareable card to their Instagram account. And the caption included a call to action to visit their program's homepage, which is driving site traffic for Youth Month. And last, but certainly not least, providing program previews. So we always encourage partners to embed program content on a splash page for a preview of the resources available through your program. So again, one of our Florida partners, GTE Financial, actually embedded a Money Mammals game, an adolescence video short, and this Art of Allowance podcast clip on their splash page to provide, just a preview of the content available, show the variety that was there for kids, teens, and parents. But whatever you do, just make sure that getting to your program's content takes as few clicks as possible. So removing any digital barriers can help kids and parents access the tools when they need, wherever they are, on desktop or mobile. That's what I've got.
Well, very nice, Erin. And all of this, I mean, Erin's already given you some kind of good growth numbers, but we all know that we live in a world that tracks data. And so we wanted to just show you that the strategies that we've been sharing with you can lead to growth opportunities beyond the ones that Erin's already shared. So Ohio Credit Union saw 15% growth in their first year when they were launching the program. F&A Credit Union, which is one of our longer-term partners, saw over $1 million in first-year deposits when they launched the program. And Great Lakes Credit Union, they employed that newsletter that Erin was talking about, as well as they had their costumes. So Joe the Monkey walking around in branches out in the community, more areas of impact can lead to more areas of growth. They saw a 20% increase in their program when they launched that as well. And what you're ultimately what we're ultimately all trying to do is kind of create this brighter future. And by thinking of your youth accounts differently and engaging families, you really can stand out. And just don't forget to start engaging with those employees to take advantage of that dual benefit that we've talked about numerous times, because empowering them to raise their kids' money smart while making them aware of the whole program helps make them true program ambassadors at your branches. Secondly, your community really benefits with smarter families and school resources. And ultimately, we want to think about this as a generational opportunity. We live in such like a short-term thinking world, and this is really about thinking longer term. It's an idea to help grow this next generation of money smart members for your credit union, because by educating the parents and the kids, these can be really great members down the road as they age. And so you have a choice. Obviously we're not going to advocate for the first choice here, but this idea of doing nothing, obviously I think that's a mistake. Now, DIY, you can do this yourself. We know a number of credit unions that we've given you a whole lot of tips and ideas that are related to our program, of course, but they are ideas that you can incorporate on your own. And and credit unions can have success that way. But of course, if you want to get there faster and with a trusted source, working with Leverage, working with Growth by Design, and we've been doing this for a long time, we would absolutely love to talk to you. So connect with us. And I just want to say that we feel really fortunate to be partnered with Leverage and Growth by Design. And I just want to thank you all for taking your time to learn with us, and to thank Misty for inviting Aaron and me to talk to you. And if you want to connect, Aaron's going to drop a link that you can use in the chat to connect with us directly. And I'll drop my email address in there. Please reach out. And again, thank you very much. We'll turn it back over to Misty.
Thank you so much, John. I am actually going to drop this here for the new contact form. Let's see here. And I will be sharing these email addresses as well. Following this webinar, of course, if you know me directly, feel free to reach out and I can get us all connected where we can set up a call. I think one of the most impactful and incredible things is that you have, something for every credit union. So you have something for the small credit unions that may only have, one branch, or you have something for the credit union that has multiple branches all across the Southeast. And you've come up with a way to quickly implement and get this launched for them. So could you kind of speak on that a little bit, John, on what that's like for a credit union to implement? Like, how long would it take for them to onboard this type of program
Sure.
that's already established?
Yeah, we've got a good process to help credit unions do that onboarding, and then getting the launch taken care of, and then connecting with you quarterly to make sure that you're growing the program. But it takes about 2 to 3 months, mainly because we don't know at the beginning. We just don't know how much time the back and forth will be in terms of getting approvals. We can move very quickly, sometimes a little quicker than that, but 2 to 3 months is a good amount of time in order to get the orders and everything settled, and make sure that the website is up, and that your web page and is all set up, and your landing pages are ready to go. So that's the kind of rough time, that 2 to 3 months. And to your point, Misty, a lot of the examples we shared were from different credit unions of wildly different sizes. Some of them are in the smaller than 200 million, and some of them are more than 5 billion. So we work with all different size credit unions, to Misty's point.
Yes, that's absolutely fantastic. And so I put John's email, I put my email. Aaron, I'm sorry, I didn't type yours yet, but we also have that contact form. Following this, we will have the recorded webinar. We'll have it posted on our website. Feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. And does anyone have any questions? We'll keep the Q&A open. You know, one question that we did have one time, John, with a credit union in Florida is, how do you do it within the core, right? Like, so they had asked like, well, how do I set this up as an account? And what we ended up finding with that particular credit union is they were able to just create a special suffix based off of a share account. And so if they
Yeah.
wanted to create a deposit program, that was very easy for them to do. They just had a dedicated suffix like you would have for your Christmas club or your vacation club.
Yes, well said. And we can work with obviously any core to that point.
Well, team, I think that we have most of the questions answered. I will still be around the rest of the day to answer any emails if anyone has any questions about Sniggle Zoo, the Art of Allowance, or the Money Mammals. Uh, and we'll also, if you can get to the site demo, I highly recommend where you get to act as a credit union staff member for a day. That was my favorite game. But I want to thank you all for joining us. And John, I will leave it with you for any parting words.
I just want to thank you, Misty. It was terrific. We dropped that link into the site. So if you want to connect with us, we'd love to talk to you, and we can give you access to the demo, and you can find out all about our program, and we can talk about everything that we have to offer for you to help you reach out and connect with youth and families and make a difference.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their day. Thank y'all so much.